Whatever you feel comfortable with. Yeah, because I think the story is about people trying to get started in the music industry.
Well, I was a fan with no background.
Pursuing
That's
dreams.
Great. That's what we're talking about. Exactly.
Pursuing dreams, chasing dreams. Some people don't like that word, chasing, but I don't mind it. And the idea of going after your passion and wanting to do it for a living, and then relating it to these three musicians we're going to talk about in the documentary and what they're doing. And Dylan is one of them.
Okay.
And
so eventually we'll be getting to Dylan.
We're going to talk about Dylan. That's really what we're.
Right, but I mean, the first thing will be me.
First thing, let's get
first your background. Then he's going to ask you a question, and then if you just kind of rephrase the question, like if he says, "What's it like working with Dylan Doyle?" Well, the reason I work with Dylan Doyle, because we're just not going to really cut to him. We're just going to cut to you.
On the voiceover, I'm going to be saying Butch Denner, road manager of the band.
Right.
In these years, works closely with Dylan Doyle, and then it's. Boom! It's going to go to a clip like you talking about I started and cool. You know, that's the idea.
The story of you being a fan first, and then whatever that is, that would be a great intro.
So you're just going to go on this one. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Butch Denner. I live up here in New Paltz, New York. I first came up here in the '60s and went to college, and our college had a lot of great concerts. And I saw the band in our gymnasium in 1969. They were getting ready to go out on tour. And a bunch of us knew who they were, and we went to the show, and it was the band. And then many years later, through my friendships with musicians in town and in the bar bands, I was in New York City going to see Levon Helm and his Woodstock friends, Randy Sherlante, Jimmy Weeder, Stan Celeste, the late Stan Celeste, and I saw them at the Lone Star Cafe downtown. And in between sets, I was outside catching some, as Garth used to say, some air freshener, and I see Randy Sherlante from the band coming out. I said, "Hey man, what are you doing? You want to get some air freshener with me?" And he says, "Come on the bus. The boss would love to see you." So the boss turned out to be Levon Helm, and in 1987 or 86, I became friends with him, and it wasn't the band yet. They were just a bunch of, I mean, it was post when they were big stars, but it wasn't a reformed band of the 90s. And I became friends with Levon, and then when the band reformed, I was going to the shows all the time, driving him or driving Randy, and they didn't like the tour bus that much. And the road manager didn't know what to do with me, so he put me on as security, so I knew everybody. And then one day the road manager says to me, "Hey, the boys are going to Japan, and I don't feel well enough to go. Well, would you mind taking the boys to Japan for me? We'll pay you $1,500 a week. We'll pay you $150 a day expenses. You'll stay in 5-star hotels, and you'll see all of Japan. Would you mind?" So, of course, I said yes, and I was road manager ever since, until 1999, when Levon was too sick to go on. And it was a great ride. I was with the best musicians in the world. Levon Helm, there's nobody finer. There was nobody finer, musically or personally. His friendship with me, we never wrote anything down. I was never on the listing as anything other than road manager, but it was a handshake built on trust and faith, you know. And Levon just liked me, and I just liked him. Redneck from Arkansas and a kid from Brooklyn, New York, but hey, it worked. And he used to say, "Just guard my gun side, son. Just guard my gun side." And for all those years, and after the band broke up, and I got him into Sloan Kettering because he started getting bad throat cancer, and the doctor up here in Newburgh wanted to take out his vocal cords. And I said, "Doc, you got no idea who's sitting in that chair. You are not touching those vocal cords." So through my aunt, we got him into Sloan Kettering and got him into radiation and saved the vocal cords. And then years later, his voice came back, and he, not on my watch, but on the Ramble watch, he scored 3 Grammys singing his song. So it was a beautiful story, and I'm really proud of our friendship and what we accomplished together.
All right, yeah, so now I ask whatever the first question. Great, that
got me, that is great. And what we're thinking about too now is you personally, just when we're getting into this, just say something quick about as a kid. Did you have a passion to be in the music business? Was this a dream come true for you personally? And then also the 4 guys that were in the band. What was like them coming together and being the rock
5?
Stars, the original 5? Yeah. What was that? You know, was it as kids? Was this like? How did they? I don't mean how did they handle it by doing drugs, but
No, I know.
emotionally.
Yeah, I
What
know.
did they ever stop and say, "Hey, I made this is unbelievable. This is
mean-
what I always wanted."
You mean the Arkansas redneck who was in the hotel in Paris, and he made them, because they hated the Americans, they were, American rock stars, and he made them bring up the best pate and a silver tureen and the best
So-
wine, and that waiter was snooty looking at Levi, and he would just dip his hand in that pate and go, "Yeah, this'll do just fine, son, thank you," and dismissed the
So
guy.
he got it, is what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying,
Yeah, he
and he was appreciated where he was, and it was something he dreamed. You get what I'm saying? Is we
He
want to see
always
these guys are
would, he would
too.
always go back home, and sometimes he wasn't always treated so well because he made it, but he would always go back home and be with the people and always knew where he came from, but always came back to Woodstock. Oh yeah.
About the same length of time. You as a kid wanting to be involved, those 5 guys, the original, and what it means now, or what, was those dreams accomplished? Was it better than you thought? Was it more fun? That kind of thing, right?
Sure.
Because that's what these people are looking for.
Okay.
These people, the 3 that are chasing, that we're doing the story on. Sorry.
As a kid, my mother sent me to music classes. I took trumpet lessons, I took piano lessons. I went in the summer when everybody was hanging out. I went to a 9 in the morning to 12:30 music school at the county center where I later saw rock concerts. And I learned